Are you tossing and turning at night, wondering if you'll ever sleep soundly again? Many women find that sleep becomes more elusive in midlife. In this video, I'll share the latest research on insomnia and provide practical tips for women like you and me. You can beat insomnia and wake up feeling rejuvenated every morning. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Gayla Gorman, a licensed acupuncturist, naturopath, and author of What's Your Kryptonite? On this channel, I'm here to help you reverse the effects of chronic stress so that you can cruise through midlife and beyond symptom-free, so that you can put an end to insomnia and the unwanted results like chronic fatigue, mood swings, and even weight gain. What do you need to know about insomnia as you age? First, you need to understand how stress affects your ability to be able to sleep. We all have had periods of time where we're really stressed and we know it's difficult to sleep. We'll be overthinking and the mind just won't shut down. At night, I kind of describe it as feeling like the curtain drops. If you think about watching a live performance and the curtain drops or the curtain closes, that's how sleep kind of just comes across your brain and body when it happens naturally. There are times, certainly, when abnormal stress will just disrupt our sleep. But as we move into midlife, this gets a little more problematic because what we find is that the adrenals are trying to pick up slack from the hormones that are receding. And if we've already been dealing with adrenal fatigue, then the adrenals have no extra energy to donate. This allows cortisol to spike, which then has a reverse correlation with melatonin. The melatonin triggering doesn't function properly. So many people turn to supplementing with melatonin, but this can actually just make the problem worse over time and can create a dependency in your brain and your glandular system on that melatonin. You think you've solved the problem because maybe you're sleeping a little better, but there are other systems in your body that are struggling because this is really a glandular problem and a systemic problem that needs to be addressed. We also find that glutamate is a precursor to some of these cascading events, and glutamate is actually a downstream neurotransmitter that is produced starting in the gut. And now we're back to this issue with gut health that I talk about repeatedly, because gut health really is where the problems start. If your digestion is sluggish, if you've got other issues, even mood-related issues, it's been spoken about as a second brain, that there's actually a brain in your gut and a brain in your head. And if that gut brain's not working properly, then don't think that your head brain's going to work much better. There are also these hormonal changes that I mentioned previously, and these are actually natural changes that our body was designed to handle. So this just requires a little adjustment, not medication. Our bodies, again, were designed to handle this with our adrenals. And if we are going into midlife with adrenal fatigue and already really high levels of stress, then don't be surprised when some of these other adjustments that are required are not smooth, because your body just simply does not have the extra energy that it needs to make this happen without kind of the ride being a little bumpy. And if you try to medicate or supplement, you may be actually doing long-term damage. Rather, this is a warning sign to stop, take a pause, and work on reducing some of those stress levels, some of the toxic stressors that have been contributing to these issues, so that your body can handle some of these natural adjustments more easily. Let's talk a little bit more about how to improve your diet to enhance brain health. And as I mentioned a moment ago, we've got two brains. We've got the gut brain and the head brain. And if we focus on the gut brain, it's going to also improve the head brain. So one of the biggest things that's going to help in this regard is what I call the Fierce Five. And so if you really work to reduce the Fierce Five in your diet, you will find that a lot of these symptoms will be relieved. So what is the Fierce Five? The Fierce Five is dairy, gluten, yeast, sugar, and alcohol. So you want to completely eliminate these five things from your diet in the short term if this is one of your big issues. And then on a longer term basis, you can reintroduce some of these in moderation. I enjoy a glass of red wine from time to time. I've been known to use ranch dressing on occasion. I am from the South. I never met a cupcake I didn't like. So I feel your pain. I know this is really a challenge, but in the short term, you do need to eliminate these things from your diet and give your digestive tract a chance to heal. These Fierce Five things that we consume on a regular basis are causing inflammation. Another thing that really creates a problem is eating late. When you eat late, meaning really after 6 p.m., you're basically forcing your body to have competing priorities. When it's time to sleep, your body wants to shut everything down and focused on repair and regeneration. And when we have eaten within a few hours of going to sleep, that digestion is still trying to happen. And if you're already having digestive issues, your digestion's probably really slow anyway. You may find that you're 6 hours later and still feeling the effects of a meal that you ate earlier. And so imagine then that if you've eaten at 7, 8 o'clock at night, you're still processing that meal in the middle of the night, but you're not doing it very efficiently because your body's trying to do too many things at once. So if you've got slower digestion and you really have these digestive issues, I suggest that you try eating your last meal no later than 4 p.m. I know this is a struggle for a lot of people who are really conditioned to eat dinner, but just give it a try. You will be surprised at how much better you sleep and how much better you feel. There are some anti-inflammatory foods that will help. Salmon, you definitely want to eat wild-caught salmon if you're going to eat a lot of salmon. Walnuts, they say that walnuts look like a tiny brain, and there's a reason for that. They really help with brain health and reducing inflammation. There's also antioxidants in berries and leafy greens. Adding those things to your diet can be really helpful as well. Making changes like these to your diet will reduce internal stress and toxicity. And you'll be surprised, as I mentioned earlier, when you see how much improvement is possible with some fairly simple lifestyle changes. An unhealthy diet is a big cause of stress. This is an example of one of the countless ways stress creates symptoms and other health issues, especially during midlife. I created a video that shows you how to eliminate these symptoms naturally. I'll tell you more about that later in this video, but make sure you hit subscribe too, because I share a lot of tips when it comes to dealing with stress that's become toxic. Relieving the nasty symptoms that stress creates makes cruising through midlife a breeze. Talking about some remedies you can use to relieve insomnia and sleep soundly. For starters, you need to establish a bedtime routine and keep to it. This routine should revolve around establishing a sleep schedule to make sure that you're asleep by 11 p.m. Those hours between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. are non-negotiable. Our circadian rhythms are built around the rest and repair happening between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. That means you should probably get in bed somewhere between 10 and 10:30 to make sure that you are soundly asleep at 11 p.m. And then if you wake up anytime after 5 a.m., just go ahead and get up. This will help condition you so that you're tired in the evening and feel ready to go to sleep. And remember what I said earlier, you're needing to be done eating at least 3 hours before bed. Now this pushes that eating window back to 6 or 7 p.m. So even for those of us who don't struggle with digestive issues, you definitely want to be done eating by 6 or 7 p.m. That will help also ease your transition into being tired and ready for bed between 10 and 11. The other thing you need to establish is an environment where it's cool and technology free. So a cool environment triggers our whole sleep cycle, including melatonin production. So when your bedroom is too warm, and I would say that anything above 68 degrees is too warm, it's going to be really challenging for you to feel like snuggling in and falling asleep. I actually installed a separate air conditioner just for the bedroom because I really didn't like having to cool the whole house down to that temperature. So if that's an option for you, you might consider that. When I talk about technology free, I mean no TV in the bedroom, no phones, no other devices. You want to make sure that that bedroom is technology free. And if you're one of those people, I will admit, I do it from time to time too, that are used to using those last few minutes of your day with technology, then you want to make sure that any tech device in the bedroom is completely shut off, not just on airplane mode. You want to use Sunset Lens blue blocker glasses. They're orange tinted blue blocker glasses, and they really help to allow your brain to kind of recognize that it's sunset essentially and it's time for sleep. I think the glasses are actually amazing. I find that I start yawning a few moments after I put them on. But if you are one of those people, I get a lot of pushback. I use my phone for my alarm. I would suggest that you find another way to wake yourself up. And hopefully, if you do a better job of establishing this sleep schedule, you'll wake up on your own without an alarm, which is the best way to wake up. You really do not want to shock yourself out of sleep in the morning. The other thing that will help you transition into a lower stress state of mind so that you can drift into sleep is practicing mindfulness. I recommend that you practice some sort of yoga nidra. I have a yoga nidra recorded meditation that I use at the end of my mindful movement class, and I've included that in the Molt Method program. It's really just a few minutes that just honestly is guaranteed to have you drift off to sleep. Then the important thing is that you are able to stay asleep, and the way that's going to happen is with this cool technology-free environment and empty digestive system so that your body can stay busy doing rest and repair. Normally what happens when we sleep is all of these body systems shut down, and honestly, we really should not even need to get up and use the restroom in the middle of the night. Don't we expect our kids, the little ones, to be able to hold their bladder through the night? And the way that happens is that all these systems shut down. So if you're finding that you're having to get up in the middle of the night, just know that that's a sign of aging, a sign of toxicity, and a sign that your body is not able to completely shut down to the degree that it needs to shut down to really handle this rest and repair. If your efforts to live a healthy lifestyle and do all the things you've been led to think are supposed to work aren't getting the job done, you may even be feeling like you take 2 steps forward and 3 back. In my next video, I'd like to show you how to manage the toxic stress that's sabotaging your efforts. You can eliminate the symptoms that seem to be piling up in midlife naturally without medication, crazy diets, intense exercise, or any other unsustainable lifestyle hack.